So a while back, you had the series that came out, Jeffrey Dahmer, and a lot of people didn't understand that why people that's in white society was really, liking that series. Some of them was, fans of Jeffrey Dahmer, even back in that time period. But a brother gonna bring up a point about that, and we want to just expound on that just for a little minute. Let's go ahead and roll that.
I'm gonna be honest. When I see white folks romanticizing Jeffrey Dahmer and bragging about the show and acting thrilled and exciting on seeing sick homicide, murder, violence behavior, I see the same people that stands in the streets that were standing in the streets for my ancestors were hanging from trees and were being burned alive, and white folks celebrating it in the streets and all that. That's what y'all look like, celebrating and romanticizing Jeffrey Dahmer like it's something thrilling and awesome. I'm just saying so. So continue to do y'all. Just know that you look like your ancestors.
Oh, yes. If we talk about American history, yes, the descendants of those who was cheering at things happening to us, those that had no problem hanging us from trees, those at that time period would fight over the body parts of black people. Yes, they would. They would actually fight over it. They would sell tickets in their churches. This is why it just amazes me how black folk, how you go through their system and talking about you a Christian. When these same so-called Christians were selling tickets to sit up there and watch you be tortured and watch your ancestors be deleted and fighting for the body parts. There was another thing that they believed in. You're talking about in relation to Jeffrey Dahmer. They believed in a thing called medical cannibalism. You can look up that term, exactly what I'm saying. They believed that if they ate certain body parts, it would have healing properties. This is their history right here in America. So a lot of the victims that was hanging from trees and all kind of other victims, they would actually take these body parts, either keep them as souvenirs, or they would actually eat them for thinking they're going to do something, for their body. You remember the great Nat Turner. After they caught and killed him, they turned his body parts into grease, called it Nat's grease. Yes, they have made leather out of black people's skin in the history of America. See, this is why they do not want their history taught. This is why they say, oh, critical race theory. It's about hiding the history of America, hiding the history of the white supremacists. Because listen, they know that we can't really hide this forever. So let's try to come up with laws in public school that we can't allow these kids to learn the true history of America, and why black people talking about reparations, and why black people talking about what's happened to them for the past 500 years. See, they don't even want their own kids to know about what happened, right? Because see, if they own kids was educated about what really happened to black folk in this country, even they would get sickened by that. You understand? And the less you know about American history, the more you could be on a position that when you're non-white, well, black people don't need no reparations because you don't even know the history of America. You really don't even know what happened to black people. You don't even know whatsoever. Things that happened to black people all the way up, even up until now. Jeffrey Dahmer, that was in the 90s? Do you think Jeffrey Dahmer's the only one? All these missing black people every year that you see, nobody cares about finding these missing black people. Definitely a lot of black women. They're out here targeting black people still to this day. This is why I'm not for the public education system, because the public education system ran by them. No, we need to be educating our own kids. We need to be educating them on who we are even before coming to the contact of the European. Because we had our own civilizations, our own everything way before they showed up. But you let them miseducate you, and they will tell you that they the one civilized you, when it was the other way around, and that we civilized them. But this Jeffrey Dahmer thing and all that, like I said, that's straight American history if you go back in the past. And the thing is, some of them still got, let me tell you something, some of them still got these body parts in their houses. Do you remember a while back that they had this brother that actually had had got this antique chair, and that chair was filled, like, the cushion area with slaves' hair.
I want everybody to see this. This is not propaganda at all. This chair right here is 200 years old. This 200-year-old chair came from somewhere in North Georgia. Now we are restoring this chair. So what we're doing, we got to take this chair and make it look brand new. But I want y'all to see. Now, I actually asked and I got into the details of it. I didn't just assume. I want y'all to see this. Usually old ancient chairs like this, you fill them with whatever you can get your hands on is what you fill them with. This one apparently has cotton. This is hand-picked cotton, been sat on for over 200 years, and it's horrible. But it's made with solid wood, so it's gonna last forever. But I want y'all to see this. This is human hair. This is literally human hair. Imagine how many slaves it took to put human hair in this seat. It's the full seat, the full interior of the seat is human hair. It's human, not horse, not cow like they usually do, pig hair, horse hair. No, this is actual human hair, slave hair. Imagine how many slaves it took to fill this chair with human hair. Now, a lot of them are filled with horse and whatever you can get your hands on. But this came from a very, very wealthy people in North Georgia. They're keeping this chair because of the historic and the sentimental value it has to their family. Imagine how many people it took to put this much hair inside of this chair. How much hair? I want y'all to think about that when you stand up for your flag and all that, and you a true American today. How many humans did it take to cut and put in this chair? That's a lot. Think about that.
This is the things that these people were doing, folks. This is why they don't want you to get any kind of education about who they really are and what they done to our ancestors. And even what they still continue to do today. Because they try to play this little game. Well, I didn't own any slaves and I had nothing to do with it. Yes, you did. You had everything to do with it. Because you're maintaining a system that was built off of that. You're maintaining a system to this day that still discriminates against black people, mass incarcerates black people for things that, listen, when black people sold marijuana, they go to jail. White folks want to sell it, they get a license, nobody go to jail. Not everybody in liberal cities can be getting high. But black men are sitting up in jail right now for the same thing. Doesn't make any sense, right? These people are still practicing. That's why I say they are all guilty, because they kept the system going that was built off of that, maintained off of that, and still to this day, anti-black racism fuels their system. Using black people as a commodity, using black people as human capital, all these different, take everything from black people, but they can't have anything with it. I was watching a brother the other day make a video talking about, hey, you notice every time we learn something or we get involved in something, all of a sudden it gets harder or it gets sabotaged. Yeah, it's always like that, because they got to keep black people at the bottom. But that's not going to ever work, because God didn't ordain us to be perpetually at the bottom. We were at the bottom during slavery, but we're more higher today than we ever been. And we're going to go higher and higher and higher no matter what they do, because God is decreasing them and increasing us. That's the way it's working. And they think they could throw all the immigrants they can in this country. They're going to get a rude awakening with them immigrants, because them immigrants are not for them. Them immigrants are for themselves. And once the immigrants get a foothold, watch how they act. Don't be looking this way. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, that's why they don't want you to learn the history of America. That's why. Because once you really learn about what they have done to black folk, you really look into medical cannibalism and things like that, really look into it, you just be like, you'll be so sick, and you're like, oh my God. Like, and these people, it's the same people that act like they got some sort of morals. And to this day, act like got some morals that they should be running something. Do the research about what happened to our people. Trust me, Jeffrey Dahmer, like I said, he's one of many. But let me know what y'all think about this. So I want y'all to do y'all research on American history, what happened to black people. I'm talking about all people. I'm not talking about just black people. I'm talking about all people. You will be thoroughly sickened at these people.